If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to address
There should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not
Senator,
take
it is
my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what
you
my
tell-
time is.
Senator-
You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my
you
time's
have-
over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
He answers like a man trying to keep his hands clean while his fingerprints are everywhere. A simple question, did you talk to the White House about removing FBI personnel, turns into a dizzying yes, no, and a speech about the mark. Booker says what everyone's thinking. That mark sounds like loyalty. And suddenly it's not policy anymore. It's allegiance.
I asked you whether you had any knowledge or discussions about removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before you were confirmed to that position. And I wonder, did you then understand or have conversations with the White House about the intentions to do so?
Before I was confirmed,
Yes, sir.
did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I
And
were
I'm
confirmed.
assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
No, you're wrong.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. Did you testify, excuse me, you did testify before the grand jury that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says is the best evidence.
You know, that's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact, in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony. So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have that transcript released. And the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee can have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice
You and I both
released.
understand the law. Let me finish. I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate, and that is
There is
why.
no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you
Did
know
you or
what, how,
did you?
how do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. Patel, this is a mockery you're making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a
So let
simple
me move on.
question. If you have a
Mr. Patel,
transcript, you
during
can
your
read the question,
nomination
but you don't have
hearing,
it.
you promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration, you explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that. A new lawsuit that's been discussed numerous times, filed by 3 FBI officials, alleges that you carried out Donald Trump's campaign of retribution, in quotes, against FBI employees for, quote, failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. One of those plaintiffs has been discussed today, Brian Driscoll. Now, We know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025, and in that letter you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States, and so I'm wondering under what authority you were allowed to terminate him.
That matter is under litigation, and I'm not able to discuss it.
Okay, well, discuss this. Did you have discussions with Stephen Miller about firing this particular person or about his continuance in the FBI?
Not that I recall.
How often do you speak to Stephen Miller?
Frequently on our Homeland Security task forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security task force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security task forces.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to success of the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay. Donald Trump promised to make us all safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of masked law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
The premise of what you say is entirely
Have there been
false.
any FBI agents who investigate
no.
foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't get to say the America is not safer under this leadership.
I am not saying
America
that.
is
You're
safer
making
because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a
are
presumption
doing.
of premise.
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have seized
you have-
6,000 weapons and
you are not
23,000 violent
denying
felons have
that
been
FBI
arrested.
agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. You are not denying that FBI agents who are on the task force that fight against Russian oligarchs have not been reassigned. Public Corrections Squad reassigned. People who defend us, defend children reassigned. You're not denying that. I've seen you
FBI
time and
agents
time
don't
again
get reassigned.
attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical. You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And shockingly, you admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents, yet you're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, you are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to hand the Bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes,
at this
sir.
point?
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My
If you-
God.
If
You're
you
gonna
want to
lecture
talk
me
about,
dividing this country,
It is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
it is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to
There
address
should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not take
Senator, it is
my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
you
time
tell-
is.
Senator-
You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my
you
time's
have-
over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth, talking over each other, doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr.
So
Chairman, one point of
Go
order.
ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
He has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
One question. That's all it takes to expose the real plan. Did you discuss removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before you were confirmed? At first, it's word salad. Yes, no. A wobble. Then the pivot. Talk about the type of people who would be employed, and those failing to meet the mark who would be gone. That phrase, the mark, is supposed to sound like performance. But in a political moment like this, everyone hears the same thing. Obedience. Because normal leaders don't campaign on purges. Normal leaders don't talk like the agency is a roster to be cleaned out. And normal leaders don't act like loyalty is a job requirement. That's why Booker keeps dragging the conversation back to a simple yes or no world. Not because he loves gotcha questions, because clarity is the only protection the public has when someone is trying to reshape an institution in the shadows. Then comes the credibility trap. Booker asks about grand jury testimony tied to the Mar-a-Lago documents. Did you testify that Trump declassified the documents? And instead of answering, Patel tries to hide behind the transcript. Whatever it says is the best evidence. That's a clever way to sound principled while refusing to be accountable in real time. But Booker doesn't let him. The transcript isn't public, and under the rules, a grand jury witness can describe what they said. So why not answer? Because a straight answer locks you into a reality you can't later rewrite. And if there's one pattern that runs through this hearing, it's the pattern of refusing to be pinned down. Attack the premise. Question the question. Pretend confusion about basic facts. Anything to avoid the moment where the record becomes permanent. That's why Booker calls it a mockery. Because it is. Oversight only works if witnesses tell the truth without needing to be dragged there. The focus shifts from slippery language to something concrete: careers. Booker lays out a lawsuit by senior FBI officials alleging political retaliation, fired not for misconduct, not for corruption, but for failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. And then he names a person: Brian Driscoll, 20 years of service, a Medal of Valor, a Shield of Bravery Award, Newark Field Office leadership. This is the human cost of a purge, not headlines, not ideology. a decorated professional told he's out. And then comes the part that should make every American pause, the firing letter citing Article 2 of the Constitution, language tied to presidential authority. Booker's point is blunt. You're not the president. So under what authority did you do this? The answer is the oldest shield in Washington. It's under litigation. Convenient. When the details are damning, the details become untouchable. Then Booker presses on a different kind of influence. Stephen Miller, frequent conversations, Homeland Security task forces. The witness repeats the phrase like it's a magic spell. Say it enough and it erases everything else. But the question is obvious. When political strategists are shaping law enforcement priorities, is the agency serving the public or serving a political project? This is where the villain and victim line becomes clear. The villain is political control over independent law enforcement, turning badges into tools and professionalism into suspicion. The victims are the people who rely on the FBI to do the unglamorous work that keeps the country safe. Counterintelligence, public corruption, terrorism, child exploitation, organized crime. Work that doesn't care who you voted for. Booker claims the result is a hollowing out. Senior agents pushed out, experience drained, and a stunning first, leadership at the top without FBI experience. That's not a resume issue. That's an institutional safety issue. Then the numbers land like bricks. 20% of agents diverted to assist ICE immigration enforcement, according to the reference data. 20%. Imagine any organization losing 1 out of every 5 specialists and pretending nothing breaks. Cases stall, networks regrow, threats slip through cracks. And Booker isn't asking about abstract priorities. He's asking whether agents who investigate crimes against children, terrorism, and human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. Yes or no? Again, Patel refuses. The premise is inaccurate. That line shows up like a reflex because it's useful. It sounds serious. It avoids the answer. It keeps the public from seeing the trade-offs. Booker's warning is the kind that only sounds dramatic until it's too late. If you gut institutional knowledge, you make the country weaker. You create vulnerability. You invite the kind of major event everyone prays never happens. Then he piles on the contradictions that destroy trust, promises to release Epstein files, then withholding them, claims of a suspect in a major assassination, then backing away. No knowledge of plans to remove agents while being directly involved. Trust doesn't die in one lie, it dies in the pattern. The pattern is the point. And when Booker says, "I am not afraid of you," it's not theater. It's a senator telling the public what intimidation looks like when it shows up in a suit and tie. It's the refusal to let a powerful witness dictate the rules of oversight. Patel fires back with a flood of statistics. 23,000 violent felons arrested, 6,000 weapons seized, 1,500 child predators arrested, 300 human traffickers jailed, thousands of children identified. He cites fentanyl seizures, cocaine, meth, and spikes in counterintelligence activity. Numbers can be true and still be used as a smokescreen. Because a tally of arrests doesn't answer the core charge. Are you politicizing the institution? Are you purging expertise? Are you rerouting mission-critical resources for a political agenda? Are you retaliating against agents for the cases they worked? If you want to defend leadership, you don't just recite accomplishments. You explain the decisions that reshape the agency, and you answer the questions you were asked. That's why this hearing matters. It's not about who can talk louder. It's about whether an agency built to protect the public is being reorganized to protect the powerful. So here's the question that should keep people awake. When loyalty becomes the mark and oversight becomes a shouting match, who's left protecting ordinary Americans when the next real threat shows up?